Hey guys, I'm going to show you how I installed my backup camera in my motorhome. It's not right or wrong, and I'm sure there's going to be some mistakes that are made, and some of you may disagree with how it's installed. But this is just me throwing out advice to you guys who want to install your own backup camera and are having a hard time figuring out what to do, what to buy, or how to do it. Again, install at your own risk. If you don't feel comfortable, if you're not mechanically inclined, if you're not willing to take a risk, then I would definitely recommend having it installed professionally at some place that's known for doing those. With that being said, here we go.
Hey guys, so today I thought I'd make a video about installing a backup camera and a motorhome. I've searched and searched on YouTube for installation of backup cameras, and there's not a lot out there. Most of the videos just promote other people's backup camera systems, but none of them really show an installation. So what I've done here is I've actually pieced my own backup camera together rather than buying a complete kit, and I think that the advantage of that is that we're going to save quite a bit of money. So most of the stuff here, in fact all of the stuff here, I ordered from Amazon, with the exception of the wire right there. Then that's from Home Depot. So starting here, I've actually ordered two different cameras because I was curious about them both. The first square one there has LEDs around it, and the LEDs are super bright. The thing I don't like about that camera is that those LEDs are always powered on whenever the camera is on. So if you're just going to use it for backing up, then that's great, it's not a problem. But for me, I like to have the camera on all the time in place of a rear view mirror, and I'd be concerned about some of these LEDs burning out over time. Which leads me to the second camera right here. This is from Amazon also, and both these cameras are cheap. They're $20, something like that. Not too bad. So the second camera had very good reviews, and there is no LEDs on it, but with doing some testing inside the house, there it has an excellent quality picture. The third thing here is this Pile PLH R70 monitor. This is from Amazon also. This is also very cheap. The quality of this is decent. It's good enough for a backup camera, and you really don't need anything more than this. This does have the option for video 1 or video 2, so you can put two separate cameras on here if you like. I'm not showing any of the pigtails that come with these items. For example, both these cameras have pigtails that the power supply would go here, and then you have the other RCA jack that would go into the camera, or excuse me, into the monitor. And again, the pigtail for the monitor I don't have connected, but I'll show you that later. As far as running the wire, I decided to use Cat 5 cable here. This is outdoor grade, so it should be able to withstand the elements of the RV traveling down the road. And normally you wouldn't use Cat 5 wire for something like this, but this is all low voltage. It's not data that's being sent through these wires, it's just 12 volts. So I'm gonna run with that and see how it works. I do have some connectors here, some standard wire connectors, which I'll use later on. And then I do have this black box right here, and this is just a hobby box which I ordered from Amazon as well. It was $4, and that'll be just kind of like the junction box inside the RV for where all the wires connect. So let's get started on it. Okay, so this is our motorhome here. It's a Coachman Freelander. It's about 26 feet, maybe a little bit longer total length. But as you can see up here, there is no camera whatsoever. I did pull off that center light there and look for the possibility of already having pre-existing wire for a camera, but it does not. And I did pull off some of these other lights until I to see if there's an easy way to run the wiring through the wall of the motorhome, but this is a fiberglass wall, and behind it looks like there's some sort of foam with aluminum studding, and it looks very difficult to run wiring through it. So we're going to go through the actual wall there, and then it's going to come out the back side, and on the back side there's a cupboard in there where the wire will start running from. So I decided on this one that I am going to have this camera on all the time, so I won't be running power from the lights like a lot of people do. Okay, so here we are on top of the ladder, and here you can see the top of the motorhome, the red light, and you can see the cross there. That is where I'm going to drill for the camera. I decided to put the camera below the red running light there, and I think most of them are that way. I think for a couple of reasons. One is I think at night when that red light is on, the red light might saturate the picture if the camera was to be above it, but it's below it, so I think we're gonna have less of that. And then the second reason is that we're gonna have a lot more room inside the motorhome to work with. So just a couple of quick notes here. Some people might want to use a level to make sure that they get this thing perfectly centered up on the motorhome, but if you use the level on the bubble, if I get this right in the middle here, I'm pretty close to it, right about there, and I pull it back, it's hard to see, but this end of the level is high and this end of the level is low, and that's because you're actually measuring the level of the motorhome and not between these lights here. So if you're gonna do this with the level, that's fine, just don't pay attention to the bubble unless you're 100% sure that the motorhome is on 100% level ground and the motorhome itself is absolutely level. So there is that mark right there, and I'm going to do some drilling and we'll be right back. Okay, so we're back here. I just wanted to show you that I did start off here by drilling a small pilot hole, and then from there I will continue to use the larger drill bit to finish off the hole with. Okay, and here is the final size of the hole for you there. I'm getting close. It's hard to see inside, but you really can't, but it does go all the way through. Went through some fiberglass, a small layer of aluminum, some styrofoam foam, and then the backing of the wood there. There's that focus. Okay, so here we are inside the motorhome, and I'm going to show you where the hole came out. And it's right back here. So it's a nice, clean, round hole. It's what you want, and don't freak out about it. I'm going to show you how to seal it up. Remember, we talked about that little black box where the wires are going to go, where they're all going to meet and connect. This black box will go right up here to kind of cover up the hole, and then we'll put some foam backing behind it also to help weather it, along with some caulking in the hole here. So we'll sand down the edges of these RC jacks here, just to make the diameter a little bit smaller so that the jack can fit through the hole along with the wire there and this center junction piece. Otherwise they're just a little bit too big for all three to fit through. So I can stick this yellow piece through here just like so. Sorry you didn't see that, but it sticks through there just like so. And then we'll stick in the power source for the camera, and that'll go in there, and you can use the drill and just start push it all the way through, and then the junction can go through there. And now the camera is all the way in, and then we'll decide if we want to put this camera above or below here. But we'll just leave it hanging for right now. Okay, so I'm gonna run this wire from the box that's going to be mounted here up and then across, and it's going to go right into that wall there. It's actually a small hollow wall. It's probably about 2 inches wide, so I'm going to do a nice easy drill right up in the corner. True Silk goes with the first layer of that wall, then I'm going to run it all the way down the wall through this cabinet and then into the bottom here, and I'll show you that in a second. Okay, so what you're looking at now is one thing I had to utilize a tool called fish tape. And basically what happens is when you try to run the wire down the wall, it tends to get stuck or bound up or whatnot, and doesn't want to run down the length of the wall all the way to the bottom there. But this fish tape here, this stuff's made out of plastic. The end of it is like a steel cable type with the end there, and then what we'll do is I'll just tape on the end of the wire where it's at here, right here. I'll just tape this end on to here, and then I'll pull the fish tape back through the hole here, and then we'll pull up the wire with it, and that way this wire is ran. So this fish tape you can buy at just about any place, at any home hardware store. This particular one I think came from maybe Harbor Freight. I do like this style because it is smaller, it is flexible, as opposed to one of the larger fish tapes that have the real hard steel. But there is that for you, and then as soon as I get this ran, we'll continue on. Okay, so we are back here, and now we are looking at the wire that comes down that small wall I was telling you about. Right there. It's hard to see, but there I drilled a hole right there, which goes down into the storage compartment to where we'll be running the wire. So I'm going to now run this wire through that hole, and I'll show you where it comes out. Okay, so here is the wire coming through the hole we drilled inside the cabinet there. I'll secure this over like this, and then I'll run it down the channel, and I drilled a hole right there which goes to the bottom of the RV. And then I have an extensive length of wire. I got about 40 feet from Home Depot, which I'll run underneath all the way up to the cab there. And however you want to run it is up to you. I'll be zip tying it up.